Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
That's bad. 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 That's bad. 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 Bad.
Go, go, child soldiers.
Go, go, David Thomas. What?
We say welcome.
Welcome. That's what we do.
And we say our names. I'm one of the hosts, David Bell.
I'm another host, Tom Ryman.
And we thank our producer, Grumblebee.
Thank you, Grumblebee.
Grumblebee tasked us with watching Badaptations.
Badaptations, yeah. Bad adaptations or adaptations.
Bad adaptations.
Adaptations of properties where the adaptation is considered bad, I think, right? That's the premise?
We did Ang Lee's Hulk.
That's
we
right.
did The Last Airbender.
That's right, we did. Okay.
Yeah, and now we're doing the 2017 Power Rangers. And yeah, we're just talking about them. They're an adaptation of a comic, a cartoon, a TV show, etc. And we're just talking about, did they work? Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're famously bad ones. So
was this
usually the answer is no, it didn't work.
Was this a famously bad one? I thought Power Rangers fans were into this.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Okay.
I remember liking some of this when I first saw it. And I did don't like it as much this time, but I remember being, and I think I know why, and we'll get to it, but this is from an era where the bar was kind of low.
Yeah.
And so watching this, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they did some stuff. But now coming out of it, like 2017 feels miles away now, because it's like movies have changed. Movies got more fun. Like this, if this was made today, it would be way more fun. And so watching it now, seeing like what is possible with stuff like this, it's like, man, this was a missed opportunity.
It was. I feel like this got produced in the wake of like the Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, where sort of everything
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, where like everything was going for that. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Man of Steel. It would be the Nolan stuff, right? The Dark Knight stuff. So like,
yeah, everything is blue-gray tinted.
Yeah,
and
really everything
serious.
Is really serious and really overlong.
Yeah,
like this movie. This movie is 30 minutes too long. Yes,
it is, and we'll get into that. We got to start with the question: what makes a good adaptation of Power Rangers?
Okay,
Tom, you were a little too old for Power Rangers.
I
right?
was not a Power Rangers fan. I was a little too old for it. I watched the first episode. I remember when it came out. I think I was in fourth grade. Fourth or fifth grade, but like a couple of my friends were excited about it. You know, they'd been showing the promos all week on Fox Kids or whatever. So I watched it that Saturday morning, and I quickly realized that, this is too young for, like, this is not for me. Like,
yes.
But my younger stepbrother was very much into it, so he's like 5 years younger than me, 5 or 6 years younger than me.
Right. I was right on the line, and so I enjoyed it quite a bit. For a brief period, I feel like.
So you were into Power Rangers.
I have no nostalgia for Power Rangers, but I know that there was like at least a few years in elementary school where I aligned with it, and I would get up in the morning or whenever it was on, and I'd watch it, and I had the toys. The toys were great, no matter if you were into them or not. I remember being excited for the movie coming out, but I do remember the window being very brief, or rather, like I was a little before you, so I was more on the line. But I don't think you need to be into Power Rangers to kind of know what would make a good adaptation of Power Rangers.
I just wanted to say real quick that I have seen quite a bit of it because my younger stepbrother was really into it. So I've seen all the toys. I've seen a lot of the episodes.
Right.
I think I've seen that movie, the 1995 one.
I remember at the time thinking this is the best special effects I've ever seen. And I would love to go back and revisit that.
I think you'll probably still be into them because they're kind of like, they do a lot of like puppets and practical weird shit on Power Rangers.
That's true.
And the movie in my memory is a lot of that.
Yeah, Power Rangers is famously kind of a grift.
Yeah.
It was a Japanese show that I'm almost certain they just stole pieces. Well, not stole, but you know what I mean. Yeah. They just took pieces and they just filmed American kids.
Yes.
But all the Power Rangers scenes, including, I believe, Rita Repulsa.
Yes.
Is from a different Japanese show. They're not speaking English, and they just redubbed it to make. And so, like, they're just hastily putting together these plots.
I think,
and every plot was basically the same.
Yeah,
which is they have like a B story with them at high school. The bullies are bullies. The putties show up. They always have. It always escalates. The first fight, they're out of their outfits. The second fight, they get in the outfits, and sure enough, the baddie of the week.
Yeah, Rita throws a monster at him. They beat up the monster. Then he grows big. Then they grow big, and that's every episode. Yep.
And it's a kaiju situation basically.
Yeah. Although I want to say I feel like I read somewhere that after Power Rangers got kind of popular after like the first or second season, they started filming the Power Rangers stuff. They started making it themselves and integrating it into the show.
And that's how we got like the movie. And then Tommy, the Green Ranger, was a whole plot where he was, I believe, evil at first.
He was,
and then And so there's a lore there. The putties are the foot soldiers, basically, the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
And Rita Repulsa is Shredder, and they're the Ninja Turtles. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, there's space. She's on the moon.
She is on the moon.
Yeah.
I'm bummed she doesn't quite get to the moon in this movie.
Yeah, she's on her way.
She's on her way to the moon, yeah.
Best part of the movie.
Yeah. I really expected her to land on the moon because I had forgotten about that. I want to talk about this right now just because it popped into my mind, so I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
At the very end, when he just backhands her off into space.
Incredible.
I had forgotten that her base is on the moon until that moment. So as soon as they backhand her and she's flying up into space, I'm like, oh shit, is she just gonna land on the moon?
Yeah.
That would be incredible. And they didn't quite do it.
No, but that's the level of silliness that should have been in the whole thing.
Yes.
Them backhanding her to the moon is the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because he just slaps her like a fucking fly.
Yeah.
And she leaves the atmosphere.
Yeah, she does.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for an adaptation of this, like, it should still be for kids, but it has to be firmly aware of the generation who's actually watching it.
Right.
Right.
It's who are going to be adults now, but who have fond feelings towards Power Rangers.
Yeah. But there should have been like a James Gunn-ness to it, which isn't to say James Gunn should have done this, but it should have been wild. You know what I mean? It should have been fucking out of control. It should have had more fun with the original. I think like that's what a good Power Rangers would be.
Right.
I enjoy Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
God. I would every single scene they show giant Cranston face on that wall. I laugh my fucking ass off. It is so funny. This giant Cranston face.
Yeah. Because again, it's stupid. Zordon in the original, it's not a spaceship. It is, I believe, a Jewish cultural center that was also it was all in Los Angeles and was also in a episode of Star Trek. I think Descent, Part 1 and 2, the one where Data and Lore team up. Because Lore has brainwashed Data. Doesn't matter.
Kind of matters.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really cheesy show that it was
weird.
It's a GI Joe.
It was weird too. That was it's
very weird.
The weirdness of it, I think, is something that we don't talk about a lot. Like just how fucking strange. Every week they would have a new like Bebop and Rocksteady, but they were way stranger than anything they ever did on Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So yeah, I think this movie is interesting. It has all of the things, like
I wanted to discuss that because I think the broad strokes of this movie are good.
Right, it has all the stuff that you would want in a Power Rangers adaptation, right? It's got they got to be them in high school, so it's got the high school stuff. It's got to be them beating up putties. It's got that. It's got to have them in their Zords. It's got that. They got to get in the Megazord and get into a gigantic fight with a giant bad guy. It's got that.
Yep, this isn't a case of The Last Airbender where it's like you fucked up the adaptation.
Yeah,
and I think this brings us into what the movie did wrong because I'm sure we're gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
The problem isn't what's in the movie. It's when it's in the movie.
Yes.
Specifically, it takes 90 fucking minutes, I counted, for a Power Ranger to show up.
Yes.
It is the tone is it's like I can even forgive because we've talked about this. The Ninja Turtles, the gritty Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They have it. Those are like the second one gets on board. The second one was like, okay,
the second one figured it out. Yeah. The second one was like, oh, let's just do the cartoon.
Yeah, and it still has that weird gritty tint, but it's like I can forgive that if they make the pacing actually good. I would argue the characters, the actors. I mean, this has some fucking this is powerhouse.
This is a good cast. Like I think everyone in this cast really works. Like I think this movie has all the right elements, except for it's way too serious. It's too long. It was sort of the victim of this era of blockbuster filmmaking, specifically as it relates to superheroes, that we were all still kind of riding that Dark Knight thing. So like everything had to be like serious and grounded, which is the last two things you ever want a Power Rangers movie to be. Your Power Rangers.
Right.
Like listen to that name.
Yeah. It's wild. It's man.
Yeah.
Like that's its problem. I want to talk more about that and how does it hold up of the actual look of it. Mm-hmm. But like to me, the core is the fact that they spend just so much fucking time on no, you're not ready yet. Yeah. And it's like they needed. So if we want to talk pacing, they needed them to become Power Rangers in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
not the first 90 minutes. First 30 minutes. They needed to do something awesome in that, like, by the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
Then I would say you take the Zoids. You introduce them about halfway through, but the Zoids are the actual payoff, right? You wait for the third act to get them in the Zoids. That's acceptable.
Yeah, they do that, and that's fine.
Yeah. But this is so backloaded.
Yeah.
Because, and it has nothing to do with it as an adaptation. They just fucked it up. They spend so much fucking time on the characters that it's literally like 30 minutes left and all the stuff happens.
Yeah.
They become Power Rangers. They barely fight putties in the suits. They get immediately into the Zoids. They're fighting a big bad guy within the span of like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like they forgot that was the movie they were making, and at the end they're like, oh shit, right, we're Power Rangers. Why? I don't know why they would ever think that's a good idea.
I don't know.
That is such a bad idea. It's worse. Like, at least the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles, have them be Ninja Turtles early and have action scenes. Mm-hmm. Like, what did they think people were watching this for? A teen drama? It's a teen drama.
For most of it,
that's what it is.
And obviously, when you're casting teenagers, everybody's going to be usually is not in their teens anymore. So it's like it's not out of the, you could point at the cast and kind of chuckle a little bit that everybody's in their 20s, but the Liu Kang, the guy who plays the Black Ranger, Zach, he literally plays Liu Kang in the new Mortal Kombat movie. He was 30 when this movie came out.
That's amazing. No, he's barely. They say, like, do you go to high school? And he's like, sometimes. They should have just made him like a fucking weirdo.
I didn't.
Like a 20-something-year-old weirdo.
Until that line, we have no reason to believe he's a student. He's just some guy they met at the quarry.
Yeah, he is just some
He's
guy.
a 30-year-old man hanging out at the quarry.
It's so weird the things they rush because they do that where they all have to go to this quarry and they have like a couple characters who are just there.
They have two.
And
They
it's like,
have
"Hi,
two
I'm
characters who are. Yeah, there's okay. That's
just
another
quarry kids. They're just quarry kids.
It's another thing we have to talk about, but I guess it sort of goes into it all ties into the main big flaw, which is that they have all the pieces here. It's just they fucked up the execution. This script is god awful.
It is very bad.
To the point that what we're talking about is they all meet in the quarry, which is where they find their Power Ranger coins. You have Jason and Billy who go there because Billy has he used to go spelunking with his dad to look for treasure. So they have an acceptable reason why Jason and Billy would be there.
Yeah.
As much as it needs to be.
Yeah.
But then Kimberly shows up and she's like, "Oh, I just like to go hiking to clear my head." And then Trini shows up for the same reason.
Yeah. I also like to go hiking to clear my head. They couldn't figure out how to get these five fucking kids in the same area.
And then Zach, as far as I know, they never explain why he's there.
No. Well, he's just stalking
the
women. Yeah. He's just quarry punk.
Yeah.
Quarry punk. And that's the way they find it is
they see
who would have thought that these kids would have found these crystals before anybody else? And then they just it's coincidence because that happens. They get hit by a train, and then the next day they meet and they're like, "We're jumping over this cavern. Hey, let's go in the cavern.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a spaceship down here." And it's like, really? It was just in a cavern. Nobody has gone in that cavern before.
You have to
is
they had to
wild.
they had to fall 300 feet through a water barrier. I don't know. It's a hidden spaceship, but
it is, but
it's
still, and the fact that they just happen upon it, they have to keep happening upon these things.
It's all every discovery in this film is just a Katamari Damacy escalating ball of coincidence. That's all it
exactly.
is. And my favorite part is when they find the coins. It's in this glass wall, and as soon as they see that there's stuff glowing in there, Zach rips this pick out of somebody's backpack. I don't even know who brought the pick, and just starts attacking the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, "We got to get these things out. There's one for me, and one for you, and one for..." He's immediately let's rip these things out of the glass and divvy them up.
Yeah, I guess this is getting into how does this hold up. What I think works about this movie is Zach.
Yeah, Zach's incredible.
He's a maniac.
Yeah, he's just out of his mind.
I think a lot of what works is they knew to make the characters likable, and I think they did an okay job at that.
I think
they got Billy from Stranger Things in there.
That's so weird to see him in this movie.
It's so weird.
As that's the only thing I've seen him in is Stranger Things. Also, I just saw the Elvis movie, which he's briefly in. But the main thing I know him as is Billy on Stranger Things. So it's
yep.
I've seen him play a completely different kind of teenager. So it was really weird it was jarring in this movie. Not that he's bad. It was just kind of strange.
No, it is. It's very weird. Yeah. They got Princess Jasmine's there.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting what they did. Oh, there's two things I want to mention about her character real quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they made her arc be that she was actually the bully, right? She was the one who was bullying kids.
Yeah. I liked that.
So I thought that was that's a cool idea.
Again,
but then
they do a lot of good character work. It's just the problem is it's most of the movie.
It's 90 minutes of the movie, and then we get 20 minutes of Power Rangers. But later on when they're in their Zords, she dips some of the gold, I think, or a putty arm onto the car of the two girls who were kind of mean to her in the beginning. And she's like, "Yeah, that's what you get," and flies away. And I was like, "Didn't you just tell us that you spread revenge porn of somebody through the school? Didn't you just get through telling us that you were actually the bully? Why are we supposed to feel good about you ruining these quote unquote bullies' car?"
Right, you're just continuing.
You're just continuing to be a bully. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really. I think it's a good example of the kind of disconnect that this movie has, how it messes up its execution, even though it has all these good pieces.
Well, I'm gonna point out a line by Rita Repulsa where she ties them up and she says, 5 little rangers tied up like a fish.
I paused the movie and paced around my house because I have no idea what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
What does that mean?
Tied up like a fish.
Like a fish?
You know how fish are tied up all the time?
That'll shorthand that we all go to. Yeah, just the tied up like a fish. What does that mean?
I can't hang out today, bro. I'm tied up like a fish
tied up
right
like
now.
a fish.
I mean, we should start saying that.
You know,
but that's
like
the level.
50
that's
Shades
the problem.
of Grey.
Yeah.
She turns to Christian Grey and says, "Tie me up like a fish."
Tie me up like one of your fish.
Like one of your fish.
Oh man, yeah. That's the main problem with this movie. There's little things. I like that he slapped the bully, which is a plant and payoff. It turns out
it is both a plant and payoff and an incredible flex.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
It's
he
a good
slaps
scene,
him, and the
actually.
bully's like, "Did you just slap me?" And it's like that, little things like that. They do charismatic things that I would say work. I think the nerdy kid teaming up with the jock kid, them all meeting in detention and all being like at low points in their life. These are all good instincts, you know. Like I enjoyed the little friendship that happens, you know, at first between Jason and Billy.
And Billy, yeah.
Yeah. And Billy's backstory of his dead father. And they put Billy, they make him on the spectrum, which I don't know if that was the best idea, but he's makes him quirky. It's of course, it's of the era, right? Like that's something they would do.
Yeah.
But he's a very lovely character overall, and they're all very charismatic, I would say. And so like, also was Ziggy there? Did I see Ziggy in this?
Maybe. I don't know.
That blew my fucking mind when they're like talking and Ziggy, after he beats up the bully or the bully headbutts him. I'm pretty sure Ziggy is one of the fucking high schoolers who's like talking to him in the cafeteria.
He's too old though. They couldn't have been him.
I know that doesn't seem right,
It
but
couldn't
like
have
if you
been
go back
Ziggy.
and watch the scene, I'll look it up. But
We do have two. They did have both Elizabeth Banks and David Denham in this movie, who are in Brightburn.
wait, what is that? Roy?
Yeah,
Roy's
Roy.
in this.
Roy, yeah.
Yeah. He's fishing dad.
Fishing dad.
Roy.
Fisherman dad.
Rita Repulsa, by pure coincidence, is found in the ocean.
Yeah, just at the same time they discover the coins.
Yeah.
She's been down there
they
for
don't
millions
connect
of
it.
years.
They don't connect it at all.
Not connected at all. She just gets brought up in a fishing net incidentally after millions of years.
Yeah, these are kind of the problems.
Yeah, it's a lot of this shit. Like,
yeah, it's just bad writing. In terms of like what did it do wrong, it really is like, I think you guys had a lot of good instincts here. What you did wrong was you simply made a bad movie.
yeah.
Just make a better movie. And it's weird to say that because it's a silly bit of feedback, but it's like you needed someone who would write lines like tied up like a fish.
Yeah,
like,
and there's another
maybe
one.
Maybe have a fucking human write your movie.
There was another line that I because I started to just like think about what this looked like on the page after a while. Like after some of these lines, there's another line where I think it's during that same scene. That scene is just full of gems. Where she's got them tied up, and Rita says, "Yellow has led you to your death because I'm going to kill you."
Sure, man. Whatever the fuck that means.
I mean,
no, it was not Ziggy, by the way. It was not Ziggy.
Of course it's not.
It
But,
should
like,
have been, but it wasn't.
So yeah, there's a lot of man. It's just very
So-
poorly. Like it's like they got all the adaptation stuff right because this movie, bless its fucking heart, I think is like the first American-made kaiju movie that finally has some monster suplex another monster. For Christ's sake, why did it take this long?
Right. That's the thing is like when the monsters are fighting in this,
Yeah.
it's fucking good.
Like they have,
I enjoyed it.
They
Once
have
the
all the
Power Rangers theme plays.
Yes,
it's
they
like,
even play the fucking theme where all the Zords are right. Like they have all the right pieces. It's just the thing that they fucked up was the actual filmmaking execution of this movie.
It's 30 minutes of a good Power Rangers.
Yeah.
30 minutes. That's it. It's got the Angel Grove being attacked by a giant monster and the Power Rangers swoop in and it's a really awesome, cool fight. Kind of like I would say the one X factor that we sort of touched on is there is the grittiness. So like the opening title, the gritty Power Rangers title that comes on.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa being treated like a fucking deadite. Like, she's terrifying at first. When they're like on fire and she's like, I'm burning alive in my Zoid. And it's like, all right, dial it back just a little bit. Because we don't need to be this fucking gritty.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, overall, once they actually turn on they get the fucking outfits on and there's like this Tron Legacy music happening, I was on board.
Yeah.
The problem was it was 30 minutes left of the film.
Yeah. I came alive so abruptly. And like I'm not even a Power Rangers fan, but as soon as like it's like and these fucking Zords running through, and then they get in the giant Megazord and suplex Goldar, I was like, now we got a fucking movie.
Right.
He does a
Goldar.
They throw a German suplex with the bridge, Dave. It's incredible.
It's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. It's such a... Like, I want a sequel of this because I feel like they could Ninja Turtles to it.
Yeah.
Where they realize, like, what they did wrong. Because this is... The other thing this is a symptom of is origin story, like, disease that was happening around this time. Which is that feeling of, like, we have to spend a good amount of time on this origin story. Otherwise, no one will believe it. And it's like, turns out, you don't need to do that at all. You can just start the movie with them already being Power Rangers if you wanted to. You know, like, it really didn't need to be... we didn't need a fucking Zordon killing the dinosaurs or whatever. Like, we didn't need that gritty-ass fucking origin and, like... Oh, like, was Zordon going to harvest their bodies? He needed them to morph so he could become alive?
That was really unclear. It was like...
I feel like he was going to harvest their bodies.
It was another, like, coincidence moment because... They keep saying where it's like he needs like the grid, which I don't know what that is, but they need the grid to come alive so that Zordon can cross over from the wall and be alive again. But it will only come on if all of the Power Rangers are able to morph, but they don't really... They sort of say it has something to do with being a team, but they never really explain what exactly it is.
And he also seems he's weirded out by them being teenagers.
Yeah, and then like when Billy dies, spoilers, Billy drowns, and they take him.
Comes back.
Yeah, they take him to Zordon, and they're like, "Fucking use your alien magic to fix him." You got some
and
of that,
like,
right?
I can't.
He's like, "I can't do that. I'm a giant Bryan Cranston face in a wall." And then Bill Hader as Alpha 5 says, "Aye, aye, aye," and then
he sure does.
He does.
Yeah.
But so while they're in there, just making this impassioned plea to bring Billy back, the grid just randomly comes on.
Yeah.
And I guess it's supposed to have something to do with them like finally becoming a team, but it's super unclear and it just seems like more random occurrence, like more coincidence.
That's what makes it so frustrating because they keep telling them you'll become Power Rangers when you're ready, when you become a team, but they never set a goal where they're like, so it just happens when it needs to happen.
It's eventually. Like, it reminded me of in the newest Doctor Strange when America is finally able to control her power. It's like they spend the whole movie like, oh, when it's right, you'll be able to, and that's just it. It's just as soon as they need her to.
When it's right for the writers, you'll be able to.
Suddenly
that's
you
what
just
it is.
can, and it's never like an accomplishment that's paid off. She just sort of suddenly just can control her power, and that's like exactly what happens in this movie.
Yeah. We're definitely in our freeform talk because I think so. What I think happened with this movie, I have a theory, is that I think there was two competing minds. That's my thought, because it feels like whoever wrote this, like, wanted something very weird and specific, that wasn't, like, they were too bogged down with the details and wanting to really make the characters matter. But he spent 90 minutes doing that. And I feel like there were producers who kept like tapping their watch and being like, you got to give us something. So they do like a quarry car chase, you know, like they don't. There was at some point in the drafts of this that they needed to look at it and say, okay, we need to start from page 1.
Yeah.
We need to start from a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because we fucked this up.
Yeah.
And I think they kept adding to it more than they like trying to fix it. But like the truth is like you kind of needed just a fundamentally new story. We needed that. We needed whatever the story to be to get us Power Rangers 30 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we needed. And they didn't know how to do that. That's what it feels like. And they spent so much fucking time on like, ooh, they have to slowly discover their powers. And they do it in like, this is the stuff I like. I actually don't mind some of the directing in this. I like how like weirdly surreal some of it is. Like they have this like missing time element.
Yeah.
Where they find.
I actually really liked that. Like them.
Yeah.
Even though it's more coincidence.
It felt alien.
Yeah, like them leaving the quarry and getting hit by a train, and then them all just waking up in their beds and being like, "What the fuck?" Like that was actually not bad. Like I didn't mind that.
Yeah. And like when Zordon like lifts them all in the air and they have that vision of Rita Repulsa and like stuff like that, where like there's this weird alienness to it that I feel like the writer or whoever was in charge really glommed onto and thought was cool. And they're not wrong. The problem was that it really didn't need to be in this.
No.
We really needed them to be Power Rangers 30 minutes in at the longest. Maybe the halfway point. But even the halfway point, it's like, fuck, man. That's a little too late for me. But they were obsessed with this idea. And I think it's of the time, right? Because we had things like, I feel like Chronicle came out around here.
Chronicle was a few years before, but I know...
Yeah, no,
I know,
scans for me.
Well, you mention it because I know Max Landis's fingerprints are on this movie somewhere.
Oh, really?
I know... I don't... Okay, let me walk that back. I am fairly certain he wrote one draft of this movie.
Wow. That is nuts if that's true, because that makes sense why this sucks.
Yeah, well, it would explain... I mean, and the Chronicle thing is like spot on. Because the how they find the shipping Chronicle is Power Rangers. Like it seems like it seems like he was writing both at the same time and then spun Chronicle off into a different idea.
Yep. So, all right.
But anyway,
what I'm reading here is that there was fuck. Yeah, this is the perfect storm of bad. So, they announced the film in 2014. Robert Orsi was attached to produce.
He's the Cursed Blood guy, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because he did both Star Trek Into Darkness and Amazing Spider-Man 2, I believe.
Right. They got Ashley Edward Miller and Zach Stentz. Miller worked on X-Men First Class and Thor, and Sarah Connor Chronicles. The script was rejected, and then they got Max Landis.
See,
whose script was also rejected, as the studio wanted a grittier tone, is what they said.
Really?
Yep. And so I think Max Landis probably introduced elements, but I don't know. I'm seeing an article here about how his version would have been cool, but I'm not going to read it. That's
Max Landis.
Apparently it captured the tone of the original series is what... Oh, according to him.
According to him. Yeah. So.
And so, like, I bet it was pretty bad. But, like, I bet that was where the... Yep. Yeah. Right here I'm seeing... all right, let's see. The director said it would be... oh, man. He says that he wanted it to be completely playful and needs to be fun and funny, but like Project Almanac, it's going to feel very grounded at the same time. So yeah, they very much were like, okay, this is what we're going with. This fucking terrible idea. Like it really is of its time. Mm-hmm. Where it's like they were doing Project Almanac and Chronicle and all that, and they wanted like teens get together, discover powers, and it's like gritty and weird.
Fantastic Four was around the same time too, and they have a lot of similar problems.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is also like they're barely Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
like it takes the last 30 minutes for them to actually do something, and so it was like this weird instinct that they had at the time that, to my knowledge, never worked. They kept trying it. And they're like, I wonder why these keep not working. We got to blame the director. We got to blame this and that. And it's like, maybe you should have the superheroes be superheroes.
I think
in your fucking movie.
I mean, they're all chasing Nolan at this point.
Yes,
and to an extent, Iron Man.
Yeah, I think they are, but I think they are also chasing that Chronicle stuff because Chronicle was like a hit, right? It was like, whoa, wow, and they liked the subversion idea. Mm-hmm. The problem is that like you can't subvert something that you haven't made yet.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
So they're like trying to make these. Yeah,
I feel like we've had this discussion before, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's you're trying to it's one of my complaints about Zack Snyder's approach to the DC universe is he's trying to subvert a mythology that he's not yet established. So
right.
it's like he wants to go straight to the Dark Knight Returns, but it's like the Dark Knight Returns came out after 60 years of Batman comics or 50
right. It's like
years of
start
Batman
with
comics.
the basics.
Yeah, we got to
basics.
establish it first, then you can like start to subvert it or like do the deconstruction. Like he wants to go straight to the deconstruction, and that feels like what we're doing with this. It's like, no, give us the colorful, goofy Power Rangers with these weird ass aliens. It needed to be more weird and more fun in 30 minutes shorter.
Right. And this is why Marvel was such a breath of fresh air when it first happened. Because, like, Nolan's Batman, nobody realized, like, there's a bunch of reasons that worked.
Yeah.
And it's not just the tone. And so Marvel...
He's also in the Batman suit at the halfway point in Batman Begins.
He still knows how to make a fucking action film.
Yeah.
Whereas, like... And then Marvel showed up, and they're like, hey, what if we made movies that were fun? It was like,
I guess they could be. I guess not every superhero, and I think that happened for a while too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it didn't, because Spider-Man was. Never mind. I walked that back immediately. But yeah, after Nolan, it did feel like at least
superheroes weren't supposed to be fun, and it was like you don't understand. Batman's
kind of the exception. Like it's like he's the one.
I don't need a gritty Spider-Man. I don't need a gritty fucking everything.
Yeah. You make Batman moody and sad. That's total. That is who that character is.
Right.
But like,
you know what you don't make?
Power Rangers.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they were trying to like it's that weird era that they were trying to do like gritty and real.
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, gritty and real doesn't mean just make it darker.
Doesn't just
it
mean
has to be realistic.
Doesn't mean mute all the colors. One of the coolest things about the Power Rangers is the bright, fucking awesome colors.
For a Cracked article, I color corrected the trailer. I remember because it was like it's literally the colors. That's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And they made like a bleak, muted one, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this? So like it's a really it feels bogged down by its time where they were like, we want to take our time with the origin. You know, that's what the kids want. They want like a realistic long, but then of course they wanted to make it true to Power Rangers, and the problem is those two ideas they simply don't work together.
No.
And
also,
so it's like, just make it silly then.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because in the end, they made a movie that was boring and gritty and also nonsense.
Yeah.
And so it's like...
so that's just, it's just bad at that point.
Yeah. If it was fun and nonsense, if it was like, what's the science? Don't worry about it. Let's keep going. I'd be delighted by that. It'd be fine, because I wouldn't be thinking about it.
Yeah. Also, where are Bulk and Skull?
Yeah, where are
those two sons of bitches?
They turn him into that one kid.
Yeah, it should have been Bulk and Skull.
It should have been.
It's like why?
Absolutely.
It's like why did it take them 30 years of Turtles movies to give us Bebop and Rocksteady? It's like why the fuck weren't they in that first movie?
I think they were just like they're too silly.
They're too silly.
We want them to be gritty. They do this whole thing like there's a lot of like gritty teen stuff in this. Her like stabbing that scissors into the wall, cutting her hair, which apparently made her hot suddenly because everybody's like, ooh.
That was really strange. I did not understand. It's like they just wanted the Empire Records scene, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah. A bull gets a hand job in like the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Sure does. And boy, it's not a great sign when like the first thing in your movie is a joke lifted from a Farrelly Brothers movie from 1996.
Right. Also, a close up of the dick.
Yeah, we do see a close up of the dick.
Yeah, we see like that's in this Power Rangers movie. Mm-hmm. And then like Roy from The Office being like, I'm disappointed in you. And it's like, again, I like the instinct to make the characters complex and have arcs like that. Like, I hate to say this, but like, yeah, the bar has been lowered. It's like, good on you for doing that.
Yeah, good on you for giving your characters identifiable wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but they made it also like weird and dark where like Kimberly, she's doing like revenge porn on somebody. And it's like, Jesus Christ, lighten the fuck up a little bit.
Yeah. But like I said, I didn't mind. Like, I liked the idea that she was actually a bully. But yeah, it's like, did it have to be revenge porn? That's pretty serious.
Right. And again, as we point out, they do this character work, but they also it's weird how the movie feels rushed and takes a while, where it's like they still have to do, like, they go to the quarry, and it's like the Futurama joke where they do the Wizard of Oz, and then Zoidberg just takes a cab, and he's like, it's me, the fourth one, where like there's literally four of them hanging out, and it's just fifth girl's here now.
Yeah, she just shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, they like yada yada. And so it's like, so are you going to spend a lot of time on the characters or not? Like, which one are you actually going to do? Because you're only doing it a little bit. Or you're not doing it where it matters.
Yeah, they did an interesting thing with Trini too, where they show she gets like, I think
they show her background eventually.
Eventually, she gets the least amount of attention in the movie. But they do a scene where she's at dinner with her family, and we kind of see like how it's really tense, and then she just straight up tells their family, because they're like, well, what did you do today? And they're expecting a bullshit answer, and she says, well, I found an underwater cave with my friends, and now we're all superheroes with alien powers. Right. And then her mom gets really upset and slams a piss cup down, and it's like, pee in that cup now. So they introduce this interesting idea. It's like, oh, so like she's, I don't know, like a truant kid, or has like some trouble with the law, or so for whatever reason she's clearly on probation and has to get piss tested.
Right.
So that's a cool idea, but then we just never see it again. See anything else about it? So that was, I don't know. If you're gonna, again, it's I guess it's all that is to say, if you're gonna do it. I don't know. There's
this tonal whiplash.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the other things to blame, and we don't blame this movie nearly enough, and it deserves more blame, is the Transformers movie. Because for whatever reason, Michael Bay was able to walk the line between, this is silly, Bumblebee and like pissing on, they piss on John Turturro.
They sure do.
And the parents are silly, but they're also able to make it like kind of gritty. Mm-hmm. And the way he does that is mostly through the visuals and adding some like truly cool scenes. Like the realization that Transformers are kind of creepy because they're like hidden. And he was able to walk that line, and maybe it had to do with the property itself, Mm-hmm. But then, of course, the later movies, you get that whiplash where it's like racist toon robots and then like brutal fatalities, and you're like, I feel I can't keep up with this.
The violence in Transformers gets like pornographic.
Yeah.
Like it's so out of its mind.
But the first movie was able to walk that line, and I think it was shaky, but it was. And so I think of like the Fantastic Four remake where they do like it's the wanting to have your cake and eat it too, where they have like a scene where Doctor Doom blows up everybody's brains.
Yep.
And at the end they're like, what should we call ourselves? The Fantastic, and then cut to credits, and it's like, do you want me to be excited that they said it in your like gritty ass depressing Fantastic Four movie?
Doom
like,
was
are we
popping skulls in a hallway?
Yeah, and it was so gritty and body horror.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. And then they're like, we're superheroes. And it's like, no, you can't do both. And this is kind of the same, where it's like they're blasting go-go Power Rangers, and it feels tonally inconsistent for the previous 90 minutes you've seen.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that other character stuff can't be in it at all.
No, yeah, it just has to be a little more efficient.
More efficient and more tonally matched.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, like, complete some of them would be nice. I feel like we get a little bit of full circle with Trini, but again, she gets the least amount of attention.
Yeah. Here's how I think I would do it. So we need to get them in a suit in half hour, right?
Yeah.
So we front load that half hour with setting up their stories, right? And then we have them find the little dildos. And I don't know how I'd have them find it. But I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, in the show, those dildos, the little coins, are what activate their suits.
Yeah.
So you do a thing where you don't even have to have the kids know each other before they find the stuff. Maybe they're scattered. Maybe they were scattered in a bunch of places. I don't know. There'd still be some level of coincidence there. Maybe you have some sort of event that releases them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, have whatever gets Rita Repulsa back be some sort of explosive event that also happens to scatter these out or something like that. You know, like, have Rita Repulsa's origin not be a fucking fishing boat.
Well, it's so...
And
it's
have it be that she was, like, frozen, she gets out, and so did these things.
Well, she's got her own little dildo, too, right? She's got the green coin, so it's like all it needed
she's
to be...
the original green...
Yeah, she's the Green Ranger, which is, I think, what they were setting up. But, like, all you need to do is just have... When they find their coins and turn those coins on, that's what wakes her up. Like, that's... There you go. It's right there.
You're right. And have Zordon do it and have it be like the idea that Zordon was just asleep, essentially, for all that time. He wakes up, he triggers it, and have the coins find them. Have them be sought out.
Be it like... I thought it would... Again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought in the show it was sort of like that sort of Green Lantern thing where like the ring sort of seeks out who's like worthy, and I thought that's what happened with the coins in the show, but...
Right. But they don't do that. They have them find them, and then they say, like, it's fate if they had them. And it's like, no, they dug them out of a rock. Like, so you have the coins find them. You have it be, like, kind of weird. You could do that disjointed alien feeling. And you have the coins become the suits on them. And, like, have the suits automatically bring them to Zordon, you know? So they're in the suits, bam. They're, like, they can't control the suits. And the suits are on, like... you know, autopilot, and they bring him to Zordon, and Zordon's like, these are the ones you chose, and then we got a movie. We're going, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just get them there in an efficient way that makes as much sense as it needs to, and have it be fucking fun. I don't know, man. It doesn't feel hard to make this, you know?
No. Or, I don't know.
Because the lore doesn't need to make much sense. It's alien tech. It can fucking do whatever it needs to.
You can hand wave so much in them. It really is. It's kind of a gift to be asked to adapt something like Power Rangers.
I would love to make a Power Rangers.
It's so much of the logic you can hand wave. Like, it's just like, it's fucking magic. Sure.
And there's so much fun that you could have making it. So, like, you do that. You do first 30 minutes, they're in the suits. They're in front of Zordon. Zordon's telling them what's up. And then they're having to, like, figure it out. And you could have the suits kind of... Like, they do this thing where they like, the things give them special powers. So, like, they're like, climbing up the walls like it's Twilight. You know, they're doing the Twilight climb, and they're jumping, and these terrible CGI.
That was very silly. Them climbing was very silly.
Yeah, make it be all the suit. And so what you have is a situation where then they all have a weakness, right? Is that if the suit is somehow disabled... suddenly they have to be, you know, they're just fighting. And so you can have fun with that as the series progresses, where it's like they're training outside the suit for that reason. They're getting better, but the suit augments them. I don't know. It really doesn't seem hard.
No, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. But they made it so hard on themselves. And I think it's due to the era it was made. Like, I think this deserves a do-over, right?
From what I'm reading, one's in development, and also I'm looking at it, like, this movie still made $150 million.
Jesus Christ. Of course it did.
Its budget was like 102, so it wasn't like a success. But, like, it's still being a movie that was, like, not really well-liked by fans and didn't get love from critics either. So, you know, by all... intents and purposes, a bad movie still made $150 million shows it's like there's plenty of people out there want a Power Rangers movie. So
the cynical version is they can do whatever they want and people will see it because it's a property. Mm-hmm. But you're right, it comes down to people where, like, we're the generation, we're of that age where, like, we all grew up with it. Make it, do it,
make it, and don't fucking chicken out. Just be weird and goofy, because that's what it is. Like, what do you can't. We don't need you to make everything into Batman.
Yeah. And again, it's this, like, whiplash where it's like one scene they're drowning Billy and they're crying, and then the credits they're doing a cover of I Got the Power. And it's like, come on, guys, pick a lane.
Yeah.
They did another cover in this. What was it? It was
Oh
Fuck.
shit! It's while they're taking dead Billy's body. Stand by Me.
It is
Stand
Stand
by
by Me. It's a sad Stand by Me. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What a dumb fucking thing to do.
But yeah, I did notice it.
Yeah. That's really where things get bleak. There's like they keep doing the low point, but they have like 3
There's
low
like so
points.
many low points. Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie is 90 minutes of these teens just getting kicked in the throat, and then
Yeah.
they get to be Power Rangers for 18
And being told how
minutes.
not ready they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They get 18 minutes of joy.
To the point
and so
where
does the
to the
audience.
point where Billy literally dies.
Yeah.
Like they just
That is-
keep getting beaten down.
It's really funny because that starts with them being like, "Come on, guys, Rita Repulsa's at the docks. Let's go kill her by the docks," which is funny in itself. Of like imagining the Power Rangers just like shanking her at the
Yeah,
docks.
they show up with
Classic,
AR-15s.
yeah, classic dock scene in Power Rangers. But then it's just like hard cut. Billy is dead.
Yeah. She beats the shit out of all of them
Yeah, it
and
was very
drowns
funny.
their friend in the harbor.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly, y'all deserved that one.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah, exactly.
kill her. Like they don't.
Let's go kill this
'cause-
witch.
Right? They don't say like let's go take her. You know, like let's go stop
No,
her.
take her down.
It's,
They're like,
it's
"We're gonna
specifically
kill her."
let's go kill Rita, and she fucks
Yeah.
them up bad.
Yeah. Quote kill. Like he's like, we're gonna kill this lady. We're gonna us together, best summer ever. We're gonna go kill a woman by the docks
You
together.
know, kill a woman we've never met because a giant Bryan Cranston head told us to.
Bryan Cranston is killing it, by the way. If there was ever a character that should have been continued, like Zordon is serious in the show, so like that was a good instinct, like a serious Bryan Cranston.
Again, the casting is fine. Like this movie has a good
Bill
cast.
Hader, like as Alpha.
Yeah,
like,
Bill Hader's exactly who you would want to be Alpha 5. Yeah.
it's just that's what I mean by a do-over too, is like keep the cast exactly the same and just have a better writer and better producers. Like it really starts with the producers here because they clearly were like, we want Project Almanac.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? And boy, I hope they learn that lesson. I hope it's not the same producers being like, okay, so we did the gritty thing, that worked, right? We all agreed to make it gritty again? Yeah, let's do that. Like, I really hope they actually realize what went wrong here going into this next one, but we'll see.
Many things.
Many things.
Well, it was really it's the one thing, and then it all stems from that. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still. I had never put that sequence of events together in my head, but it is just like, let's go kill her to get to the dock. Hard cut. Billy is dead.
Yeah, we have killed Billy, the best of us all. Like the one who's like already lost his dad. His mom is like really,
Right, and he
loves his mom,
and he's just
a nice guy.
Yeah, he's endlessly kind. He never loses his temper at anybody. Drowned in the harbor.
drowned in the fucking harbor by a gold
By a
witch.
space witch.
Yeah,
That you teens thought you were going to easily dispatch.
yeah, yeah. But she tied them up like a fish.
She sure did, Dave.
Yeah,
Trussed him up like a mackerel.
yep.
You
Classic.
Fish always getting tied up.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this movie is like, I find it very frustrating.
It is,
because it's
yeah.
like, there's a good movie here that they just
Well,
it refused to make. I think this movie to me is the epitome. It's the rock bottom of this era.
Yeah.
It is when it's like you are making a Power Rangers that's gritty. You have lost your way. Like that is bad.
Conceptually,
bad idea.
Conceptually, I agree. I still think like Fantastic Four is a worse movie than this.
For sure, that's a worse movie.
But like
Absolutely.
this certainly, I think, stands as a more stark or I guess profound example of like that the era sort of ruining the property that it's trying to.
Right, because I can see a Fantastic Four subversion.
Yeah.
Where they make it like Cronenberg, which was part of the intent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's appropriate until you've made a normal one first, like we were talking about. But I can see that concept working down the line. It's like there is no gritty way to make a Power Rangers
Like,
movie
this is
unless you change it fundamentally.
Yeah, this is a 30 Rock joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
It really is.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's a cracked Photoshop contest joke.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and I think
It's
we probably
what
did
gritty
it before.
reboot is next. Yeah, that's what it is. And they made it. It's so obviously bad.
And
that had these executives talk to a single person who grew up with Power Rangers, they would have said, no, don't do that. Absolutely don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't.
They didn't do that.
Yeah. And in fact, it sounds like they rejected scripts that were trying to do that, even if they were written badly by Max Landis.
Yeah. I've read some of his scripts. They are...
They're not great. They're not great.
They're not,
No.
they are...
Yeah. Again, I guarantee there was some terrible shit that... Yeah. The article I read from was from an earlier, simpler time where we didn't know who Max Landis was, and we didn't have that pattern yet. Like, remember that brief moment where it was like, the new hotness?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh, I don't think he's a good writer. And then we read a little more about him, and it was like, oh, even if he was a good writer, he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a sex pest.
Oh, no, yeah. But he had that, like, brief moment. Brief moment. And that's, I think, this article is from Gizmodo, and it's like his version would have been awesome. And it's like, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
By the way, Orsia left the project to work on Star Trek Beyond, and that shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oy.
Not a great era.
No, it really is.
Star
That's
Trek
Star
shit too. That's another one.
Star
where
Trek's
like,
another example of like having all the right pieces because like that cast is great, and then
this was in terms of blockbusters, this was a bleak era.
This is a bad era for blockbusters.
Yeah, it's like the early 2000s. Where it's like, yeah, there's some good ones, but then there's sad ones.
Yeah, this is around where we're starting to get like some of the bad Marvel movies too, like Thor: The Dark World and Age of Ultron.
Right, even Thor was like, we should be gritty. And
yeah,
it's like, no,
you shouldn't.
It was like an infection that hit movies where they're like, you know what people want? Serious, gritty superhero movies. Absolutely not. What the fuck?
No, we don't. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Thor frown at shit.
Yeah, you know what we need in our Star Trek movie? 9/11 imagery.
Yeah,
like,
and
please
false
stop.
flag attacks.
Yeah, for the love of
you
fucking God.
fucking maniacs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a false flag
Jesus
attack in
Christ.
Star Trek 6.
Sure.
But yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Star Trek can be serious. It's just.
Boy, no, we're not. I'm not saying Star Trek isn't serious. It's just. Yeah, it was.
It's not great.
No.
I don't know. The Star Treks are okay. I would say they're okay. Beyond, I only saw once, and that one really felt like it was such a weird third film because it felt like a one-off. Like it felt like an episode of a TV show.
Yeah, it felt like an episode of Star Trek.
Right.
so
but like not a good episode necessarily.
Not the best episode. There's still goofy shit in it that doesn't quite work. But like that, I think that might be the one that I actually liked the most.
Yeah.
But I only saw
at
it
no
once.
point. At no point do I need Captain Kirk to do like cool bike jumps,
like motorcycle jumps. No,
yeah.
absolutely
At no
not.
point do I require that.
Nope. Don't need that.
But that's for I guess another episode.
That's for another episode of Bad Adaptations, I suppose.
Yeah.
We should wrap this up.
Yeah. Fascinating film. If people haven't seen it, literally fast forwarded 90 minutes in, and you will not have missed a thing.
It is excruciating to the point where it's like you'll be at like the 88-minute mark, and you'll be like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. This movie is crap. And then the final action sequence will start, and you'll be like, oh, I get it. Like this is the fun part. Okay.
It's not just the fun part, as you pointed out. It's kind of ahead of its time with the kaiju stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that's so frustrating. This should have been the entire movie. Mm-hmm. It's so frustrating because when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's quite fun. when they're actually doing the action shit.
Yeah.
It's probably kind of like, it's probably shot badly. I don't remember.
It's not shot terribly, but it's not shot great. It's just,
it doesn't matter. I was too busy watching Power Rangers.
It doesn't matter because it's a fucking, I don't know, 200-story robot suplexing a gold monster. It's awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, shit. That's it, I guess.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Grumblebee. This was a good pick on Grumblebee's part. When he said to do Power Rangers, I was like, fuck yes. Because it's been long enough that I was like, I'm legitimately excited to watch this. Not so much after watching it, but
Yeah.
So
it was dimmed somewhat.
Yeah. So thanks, Grumblebee. This was done through our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. There's a bunch of tiers where you can get custom podcasts. You can also, for just $5 a month, get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies with our patrons every Friday night as well. A bunch of good stuff on there, so check it out.
Yeah, slap your peepers on it. We also
slap your penis on there.
Yeah, your colored dildo from the stars that makes you a Power Ranger. Just slap it on there.
Yeah. Little dildo.
We also have a store. Head over to gameplayunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, stickers, masks, mugs, posters, I don't know, all sorts of things. Check that out.
Yeah. And I don't know, Google the scene where she gets slapped into space.
It's pretty sweet, yeah.
Yeah, they try to gritty it up where she gets frozen in space. I wanted to see her just slam into the moon.
Well, I watched all
just
through
a meteor.
I watched all through the credits because I was fully expecting a post-credit scene of her landing on the moon, but it doesn't happen. But
they do a Tommy tease, and they're like,
tease, yeah.
They're like, there's gonna be another one, and it's like, no, there's not.
No, there is not.
I have some bad news for you. All right.
It's like the end of Mac and Me, where Mac's hideous parents are like, "We'll see you in the sequel." No, you won't.
Absolutely not.
You will not.
Yeah, we will fight you till the bitter end on that one.
I will burn every movie theater in this country to the ground.
Yeah, we do not want to see you again. You fucking monsters.
All right, let's be done.
All right, bye.
Bye.